Hi guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to be talking about my thoughts and opinions on UFC 274. I did a video like this for UFC 273 and it got good feedback from you guys. A lot of you enjoyed it, and on stream it's been requested, so I thought why not bring it back for UFC 274, as it was a stacked card and there is a lot to talk about. But before I get into the actual my thoughts and opinions on UFC 274, I just want to let you guys know that in the background you're going to have some Division 20 gameplay using Luke and then Dustin Poirier. So enjoy the gameplays in the background. The first one's an absolute war, and then the second one's me dealing with a grappler. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know if you liked the gameplay, and let's get into my thoughts and opinions. So I'm going to start off way into the early prelims to just quickly touch on Andre Filau, and he is a Portuguese fighter. I think he's had 2 fights in the space of a month and got finishes in both. And in this fight in particular, just looked super crisp. He's 2-1 in the UFC now, I believe. He got another TKO in round 1, KO/TKO, and he was fighting Cameron Van Camp. So if you haven't watched that fight, I would recommend checking it out just to see that this guy is a real problem. Should be breaking into the top 15 welterweights, hopefully, at some point soon. Always looking to fight, and Dana came out in his press conference to say that he instantly went in and gave Dana a bunch of dates and said he wants to fight. So he's clearly wants to stay very active. He's very good, and it's good to see a Portuguese fighter doing his thing. But yeah, if you haven't checked out his finish, please do. I think he threw a total of like 17 strikes and all 17 were significant. So yeah, he's definitely a problem, and I can't wait to see him face tougher competition. But looking into the main card now, I was going to talk about the Grapplurr fight and the OSP, but it wasn't the greatest of fights. OSP was throwing a lot of the teep kicks, which was causing problems. Yeah, he ended up winning on a decision. Don't really want to focus on that fight too much, to be honest with you. It was nice to see, obviously, 2 veterans going at it, 2 legends, but apart from that, it wasn't the most enjoyable fight. Not too much action happening. And now speaking about Michael Chandler and Tony Ferguson. So round 1, it seemed like we was getting the old Tony back. I was watching him slip punches, drop Chandler, and was having good success. And then when he got taken down, which was a beautiful takedown from Chandler, he was on the ground throwing them elbows, smiling. He just looked so happy to be back, and he did look different to his last 3. Of course, obviously he's on a bit of a losing streak. He's fought against tough opposition, but he definitely looked happier. Looked like he was enjoying himself, looked free. And you know, when you drop Chandler, I'm sure that gave a lot of Tony fans a glimmer of hope, thinking, oh my god, like Tony is back. And he may have been. Obviously the way the fight ended was an absolutely vicious front kick knockout from Michael Chandler, and that's all credit to him, because I think he was talking about how him and his coaches noticed that the middle's always open, so they wanted to fake and look for uppercuts, but he threw in that front kick, and when that landed, the way Tony dropped was nothing short of scary. I'm not sure if anyone's seen the picture of his face in slow motion, but it's like Frankie Edgar versus Marlon. I mean, damn, that knockout was so scary. Like the way Tony's legs were crossed, even after Chandler was finished doing his 1800th backflip, it was very hard to watch. I mean, it was absolutely beautiful from Chandler. There is no doubt about it. Yeah, it's a shame, because we were seeing, you know, shades of Tony in the past. He was looking good. He was slipping punches. I think he's still got a problem, you know, when it comes to the leg kick side of things. I know he checked a couple, but he's very prone to leg kicks. But yeah, overall, I didn't think Tony looked bad. It can happen to anyone. It's MMA. That's what happens. At 1 minute you could be looking excellent, and then the next you can get knocked out. And that's exactly what happened there. Not to say that Chandler was having a bad fight. It's just, you know, Tony with that knockdown in round 1 definitely secured that round, in my opinion. And then round 2, Chandler just came out and threw that front kick, and it's probably, I don't know if it's the best, but it's definitely one of the best front kick knockouts I've ever seen. It was just so well timed, and the fact that it was on Tony, who, you know, just doesn't get knocked out and takes a tremendous amount of damage, just shows. So all credit to Chandler. And then after the fight was done, he shot that, you know, promo saying that he'd want to fight for the belt, or obviously he'd want that money fight against Conor, as everyone would. I'm not really sure what makes sense for him as of now. I think if Islam is to get the next title shot, well, for the vacant title against Charles, I think do Chandler versus Dariush, or Chandler versus Dustin Poirier. But because I understand it was a fantastic knockout, phenomenal finish, but Tony is on a losing streak. I don't think you can beat Tony and then, go straight into a vacant title shot. I don't agree with that. So yeah, I'd like to see him either fight Dariush or Dustin Poirier. I think that would make sense in my eyes. I know Dan Hooker's back in the division, or even after RDA's fight, if RDA gets the win, or whoever wins out of RDA's fight, maybe they can fight Chandler. I just don't think he deserves to walk into another title shot. I just don't see it happening. Not after beating Tony, who is on a losing streak. I don't think it makes much sense when you've got people like Islam in the division, who's on a massive tear, and then you've got people like Dariush, who's waiting and, well deserving of at least a fight that leads up to a title shot. So if I was matchmaker, that's what I'd do. In regards to Tony, I'm going to be honest, I'm not really too sure where he goes from here. I understand that he was having a great round one and was looking a lot better than he has done in his past 3 fights, but at the age he is, and that knockout was absolutely filthy. I'm not sure who you match him with, to be honest with you. I have no idea who he goes up against. I just hope he does what's right for himself and right for his family. Maybe it is time to consider retirement. That knockout was, absolutely disgusting. Ever since that Justin Gaethje fight, he unfortunately hasn't been the same. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that fight there. I know Chandler also obviously called out McGregor. I don't know if that will happen. McGregor said he wants to fight at 170, and if he is going to make the cut, it's only going to be for the vacant belt. I don't see him fighting anyone at 155 if it isn't for a title shot. Even if he fights Nate Diaz, who's obviously now, he says a 170, but he's quite a small 170, quite a small welterweight. The only fights I can see for Conor is the vacant 155 belt, which I'm not saying he's, deserved of. I'm just saying that's the only fight I can see him coming down for 155. All these other fights are going to be at 170. I know Chandler said that he will fight him at 170, but I don't think that makes too much sense for Chandler, just because, yeah, it's a good payday, but you want to win the lightweight belt, you don't want to win the welterweight belt, so having the fight at welterweight doesn't really make much sense to me. Getting into Rose Namajunas versus Carla, oh my goodness gracious, that was the worst fight I have ever seen. I was so bored, and I know over in America it's at a decent time for everyone to watch. You can watch it and not have to stay up until like 5 in the morning to watch the fights. I'm up at 5 in the morning or 4 in the morning watching that level of fight. It was absolutely embarrassing, and I feel sorry for everyone that has to pay for the pay-per-views like they do in America and other countries to watch the fights. I don't know if I saw correctly on Twitter someone saying they paid $82 or $60 to watch that pay-per-view, and the fact that you had to sit and watch Rose Namajunas and Carla, that performance, and you paid for that, is absolutely shocking. I do not even want to get into the fight, to be honest with you. The performance from Rose, I do not understand. I cannot comprehend what in her mind she was thinking, and the fact she comes out in the press conference and says that she was landing punches, she landed uppercuts, overhand rights, and that she was looking good, and that the boos weren't at her, there was at Carla. I don't know how delusional she has to be to think that, and I'm not sure what her corner advice was as well. That's another thing that I literally cannot comprehend now that I'm thinking about it. Her other half, is it Pat? Yeah, I don't know what he was trying to tell her, and saying that she's dominating and stuff like this. And even after round 5, you can clearly see that Rose thought she'd definitely won the fight, and that there was no doubt about it when she takes her down in the remaining 10 seconds, gets up and says, "I'm the best." You're not the best, unfortunately. We've just witnessed that. I mean, you fought the best of the best. You fought Weili, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, Jessica Andrade. Jessica Andrade is a scarier wrestler than Carla, and she has frightening power in that division. And you can see the way Rose fought her was completely different. Rose was not scared of the takedowns. Carla went, what, 2 for 9 in takedowns, and Rose was stuffing them with relative ease. Engage, Rose. You're obviously not scared of getting taken to the ground because you were stuffing the takedowns. And you've got phenomenal jiu-jitsu, so being on your back shouldn't even be the worst thing in the world. The fact that she didn't engage meant she lost her title. And I don't think Carla deserved to win the fight. I don't think either of them deserved to win the fight. Rose probably should have stayed with the belt, but no one walked out of that fight a winner. You cannot call yourself a winner. Carla should not be able to call herself champion, because that was nothing short of embarrassing. And there was a lot of new MMA fans watching because it was a massive card, and they had to sit and watch through that. And now they probably think that's what the women's divisions consists of, even though there's loads of phenomenal fights and fighters in the women's weight classes. I mean, Rose herself is one of the very best women's fighters on the planet. She's a fan favourite, and I do not know what she was thinking. And then in the press conference saying that, I don't have to break my nose every time I fight. No fan is saying that you have to break your nose and have to make it be a dog fight for it to be entertaining. You can still fight a strategic fight, but please just engage. Don't dance around the octagon. I mean, I don't even know how the judges scored that. If I was a judge sitting cage side, how am I meant to score that fight? There was absolutely no action whatsoever. I'm pretty sure it just got leaked on Twitter that some of the judges were watching the Canelo fight while that fight was going on, and I don't blame them. I mean, that was absolutely poor from Rose, and she's saying that she wants a rematch. Please, UFC matchmakers, do not make a rematch. Nobody wants to see it. Nobody. Please, do not do that. Save the fans. No one wants to see that fight. Give Rose someone else, or let the winner of Joanna and Weili fight for the belt, because they'll beat Carla. Weili would never have done that in that fight, and Joanna never would have done that. So this is the first time I've seen Rose do something like this. I really hope it's the last. I'm not sure what happens next. I'm not sure if she waits for the winner between Joanna and Weili, or if Jessica Andrade steps in and fights Rose again, or I'm not sure what the landscape type of thing will happen. But yeah, I really don't want to see that fight again. I think no UFC fan wants to see that fight again. Let me know what you guys thought of that fight. No one came out a winner. Everyone came out as a loser after that fight. Fans and Rose and Carla, everyone was a loser. No one won that fight. That was absolutely awful. And getting into the main event, there was obviously the saga of Charles Oliveira missing weight. Allegedly, something was wrong with the scales, which is why he looked confused when he weighed in the first time. He thought he was on weight. He weighed in out back, and it said he was dead on 155. So I'm not really going to talk too much on that. Let's just get straight into the fight. I mean, what can you say about Charles Oliveira? This man is an absolute problem, and he needs to start getting the respect he deserves, because I'm tired of seeing MMA fans still disrespecting him. If you look at his last 5, is that his 11th win? 11-fight win streak. Just take a look at his last 5. I think you've got Kevin Lee in there, you've got Tony Ferguson, you've got Dustin Poirier, you've got Justin Gaethje, you've got Michael Chandler. That is a stacked top 5. I mean, this man is literally fighting anyone that the UFC put in front of him, and they're all top fighters, and he's getting in there and he's just doing his thing. And now Justin Gaethje is an absolute force to be reckoned with, and we all know what Justin Gaethje is going to do with them leg kicks. And then Charles employing that Jose Aldo leg kick defense, where you just lift up your leg, you just lift it up, it doesn't make contact, and then he was exploding straight into him, looking for the clinch. And obviously Justin had definitely had his moments in the fight. He obviously knocked down Charles twice, and what people fail to understand is what Charles has perfected is essentially how they have in boxing. They have the standing count. That's exactly what Charles done, because Charles gets knocked down, he lays there for a second, and nobody wants to jump on top of him, because if you jump on top of him trying to finish and mess up even for a second, you're in absolute danger. So now when he takes a punch, even if the punch isn't enough to knock him down, but he feels like now he can't go into a very good trade, rather than shooting for a takedown and wasting energy, all he simply needs to do is lie down. because nobody's going to jump on top of him. I mean, that second knockdown that Justin got, I think that's what happened. I think that he took the punch, it hurt, and rather than standing and trading with him, he just opted to, he threw that tape, and then I'm not sure if he slipped or willingly just laid on his back, but it gives him that short period of time to recover, get back up, and then re-engage. And he's just, I don't think MMA fans are really appreciating that aspect, that he's choosing to sometimes just, you know, go down, and it's essentially giving him enough time to recover. It's incredibly smart on his behalf. First 10 seconds of the fight, he'd rocked Justin Gaethje already. I'm not sure if anyone noticed this, but first 10 seconds, the first punch he lands, Justin's instantly on wobbly legs. And it just goes to show that he must have good punch power. I know people are trying to say that he doesn't, and but he's landing and it's hurting his opponents. Justin Gaethje is not an easy man to get out of there. Throws the first punch, hurts him. Justin ends up hurting him twice, and then it's the clinch. He's so good in the clinch. I think Justin Gaethje was saying he's the best in the world in the clinch. No, you're definitely not, because Charles Oliveira, once he gets you in that clinch, the knees seem to absolutely drain all of his opponents. Absolutely drain them. And that's exactly what we saw with Justin. Once it came into the clinch, he was taking damage. He then got dropped. Charles, the difference is instantly jumps on top because he's not worried. Isn't going for the ground and pound finish. He's going for the submission, which is incredibly smart. Went for the armbar, didn't work. Obviously, Justin then, you know, tries to roll out, gives up his back, which is 101, what you can't do. Fights the hand for the first attempt, doesn't for the second, and then gets, you know, choked out. And, you know, it's just another typical Charles Oliveira performance. And he done this in round 1 against Justin Gaethje, one of the scariest lightweights on the planet. You have to start giving this man his props. You have to give him the respect he deserves. And he is still the champion. There is no doubt about it. Everyone on his eyes, he's the champion. I don't know who he's going to fight now for the vacant belt. It will probably be Islam in Abu Dhabi. Cannot wait to see that fight. That will be absolutely phenomenal. For Justin Gaethje, if I was him, I wouldn't be too disheartened. He just lost against the best lightweight on the planet. If I was him, I'd take Dustin Poirier. I'd want that rematch. I'd instantly call out Dustin Poirier, have that fight, because that will be another banger. If not, I'm not sure. Maybe a rematch with someone like, I don't know if he could fight Chandler again. I'm not sure for Justin Gaethje. You know, it's his second title shot. Come up short once again. Yeah, if I was him, I'd definitely be after that Dustin Poirier fight. And if I was Charles Oliveira, he done the exact right thing in calling out Conor McGregor for the vacant belt, because Conor can do whatever he wants when it comes to the UFC. He can step in at any time. So that was definitely the right thing to do for him. I'd like to see him fight Islam next, 100%. 11 fight win streak versus 10 fight win streak in Abu Dhabi. Charles doesn't care where the fight is. He'll go anywhere. I know he definitely wants to fight in Brazil, and I feel like he's definitely deserving of fighting in Brazil. So hopefully the UFC can set that up for him sometime in the near future. But yeah, Charles Oliveira, without a doubt, is the champion of the lightweight division. The scariest lightweight alive right now. Phenomenal fighter. Cannot wait to see him again. But overall, I thought the card definitely delivered in terms of the Chandler fight with Tony and Charles Oliveira with Justin Gaethje. So yeah, it was a good card overall, except the Rose fight. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know your opinions on the UFC 274 in the comments below. Thank you for all the support on the content as of recently, and shout out to all the new subscribers. See you next time. Thank you.